Welcome to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for Gatekeeper and Heiser Media's combined coverage of the 2023 InnovaDiscs Myrtle Beach Open. Thank you, as always, to our presenting sponsors, Cosmic Disc Golf, D-Town Disc Golf, and Reaper Disc Supply. You guys make this coverage possible. I'm Nathan Johnson today, joined in the booth by Dan Brooks-Wells. Dan, who do we have on our feature card today?
What is going on, guys? Starting us off, we have Deann Carey. We have Juliana Korver with that 4-digit PGA number. We have world champ Paige Shue. And last but not least, we have last year's FA1 winner Jasmine Pollack.
Jumping right in, hole one. If you're a frequent player of Splinter City Disc Golf Park, this is actually course hole 12. But for the tournament, it is going to be hole one, par 3, 390, dead straight tunnel shot. Trees the whole way on the left and the right, and if you do go long, there is out of bounds behind the basket. Good, nice starting hole here to kick things off.
Please welcome to the tee pad our 2022 MBO champion, Deann Carey.
Yeah, just letting DJ Hekia get his intro in there. Yeah, it's a nice park-style course here at Splinter City. You'll see a lot of fairways kind of similar to this. You got low ceilings, pretty generous gaps off of most of the tee shots. But yeah, it's a good, tough course, but definitely some scoring out here if you're hitting your gaps.
Your 1998, 1999, 2000. 2001, 2003 world champion Juliana Korver.
I was going to say, Dan, you said world champ Paige Shue, but we've got the 5-time world champ on the card as well. Definitely looking forward to watching Juliana take on this course.
Yeah, my mistake. I thought it after Paige came up, and you know, I'm glad that he said it for me. I didn't have to.
Great shot there from her. Here on hole number one.
To the tee pad, your 2018 world champion, Paige Shue.
That kid loves it. We love it as well. We got to watch Paige on coverage recently on Heiser Media and Gatekeeper at the Down East Players Cup, so go ahead and check that coverage out if you haven't already.
Yeah, and Paige, we've come to find, has a pretty quick game, and she's really good at that Heiser flip tunnel type shot.
Your 2022 FA1 MBO champion, our own Jasmine Pollack.
Yeah, rounding out the card, Jasmine Pollack. They have a fun tradition here at the Myrtle Beach Open. The advanced winners from the previous year in both MA1 and FA1 get featured on the feature card in Pro the next year. So we'll see how the local Jasmine Pollack is able to do. This is a really nicely shaped shot from her on the first hole.
Yeah, you gotta imagine. Yeah, that first tee shot is so nerve-wracking. I mean, you won it last year. Now you're playing with 2 world champs, right? And everyone's watching. So good on her for getting it down the gap on her first throw, because, yeah, definitely nervy.
Yeah, for sure. Just left with this maybe a little over 100 feet into the green. Maybe those nerves coming into play, catches a tree there.
It's bound to happen, and you just got to give yourself some grace and just you know, keep playing to the best of your ability. And I'm sure she will.
Yeah, plenty of time to bounce back. This is a tough hole, or I should say, a tough birdie hole to start. Right, not a lot of the field, or actually, well, I won't spoil because Juliana still has to putt, but we did not see any birdies here on hole one in the FPO field on the day. 390, definitely with a low ceiling through a tunnel is definitely a bonus birdie. So you're just looking to hopefully walk away with a par here to, you know, not lose any strokes and get your tournament off started on the right foot.
Yeah, as you can see, a couple struggles to start. Like you said, getting your pars nice, and you know, maybe for the FPO, like you said, it plays more like a par 4, but
yeah, kind of just a tweener hole, you know.
Yeah,
it's just a tough get. So a couple birdies, couple pars, I should say, a couple bogeys to start the day off, but Nothing wrong with that. Let's get the round going.
Yep, shake off those nerves. Here we go. Hole 2.
Yeah, jumping into hole 2. It's a par 3, 318 feet. Kind of a choose your own adventure situation here, as you see a lot with park style golf. I think the most common play for the right-hand backhand dominant player is going to be just a nice hyzer down the right-hand side with something overstable, maybe a fairway or distance driver, depending on how much distance you have. Kind of relying on that little bit of ground play to give you a skip up into the green. The ground play on this course can be sporadic at best, I'll say. Sometimes you'll hit a sand patch and just get no skip. Sometimes you'll hit pine needles and get a huge skip. It's kind of hard to predict and can kind of change from hole to hole. So kind of just have to take what you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I would, as Juliana catches a late tree there, she'll still have a long look at it. Yeah, it seems like on this kind of course, you really just want to hit that main line, and then whatever happens, happens. I mean, I would imagine that a lot of people are playing for the skip, and then if it doesn't happen, you go, I got unlucky and hit a sand patch. I don't know if that's what you did, but that's what it sounds like most people would be doing.
Yeah, pretty much, especially on a hole like this with where you are playing that hyzer and looking for a lot of late left movement, kind of like Deann's shot is here. That's a really nice shot. Leave her a long circle to look at the birdie. Yeah, you kind of just have to hope for it, but knowing that it's kind of a 50-50 if you're going to get the skip or not.
I really like the slow, methodical approach that Jasmine takes to her shot. And she definitely turns out probably a little bit more than she wanted to, but looks like she got pin high for a look at it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty common result is just, not getting that left finish at the end, especially because the biggest gap is that right gap. But I think, for her to get the distance, she's got to turn the disc a little bit, like you said, and just a little overturned, and it's not going to quite, have that speed, that late speed to get the skip. But still a good shot. Going to have a pretty short putt for her par. Paige kind of giving that a bit of a run from circle 2. Catches some metal, but
She's going to run almost everything out here. I mean, if it's flat ground and not windy, she's going.
Yeah, Deann just catches the band there. Yeah, like you said, this is a pretty flat course, maybe the flattest course I've ever played in my life. So definitely want to be running pretty much every putt you have a look at, and you're not going to have too many consequences. Hopefully we won't see too many 3 putts from the card.
Yeah, I mean, the reason Paige can run all those putts and run them as hard as she does is she can make her 20-foot comebacker. So for those of you at home who are wondering, why do I practice 15 and 20 foot? That's why. So you're not scared of running the 40-footers.
Exactly. Those are the putts that keep you in tournaments, right? Not losing strokes, making those par putts.
The Innova Alien, our newest multi-purpose disc. It's like nothing you've seen before. With a pretty beefy mid-range bottom, but a very familiar sonic top, it creates physics-defying stability. From intermediate to pro-level power, backhands to forehands, the Alien. Flying to a dealer near you.
Third year of the Trophy Women's Disc Golf Championship. We are hosting women from all over the world. This week isn't just about the top women in our game. We have opportunities for spectators and fans and women who are wanting to learn the game to come out and be a part of the experience. We're doing our clinic Saturday, and the touring pros, when they finish their round, will come over and they'll teach you how to play disc golf. So you can come out, you can watch them, you can learn, you can just be a part of this experience that's all about women's disc golf.
Yeah, keeps you in the game. Jumping in here, hole 3. It's a par 3, 316 feet. Pretty much wide open. Most players are just going to throw a straight to finish backhand shot at it. You do have an out of bounds road on the left-hand side and an out of bounds road deep of the basket. So you just want to make sure, if anything, you want to miss right and not left. A lot of shots will find this ditch that's about 20-25 feet short of the basket. It's a good place to land, doesn't really bring the OB into play, and gives yourself a look at the birdie.
Seems like maybe the wind is starting to dial up here. How was the wind out there on the first day?
Yeah, it was kind of gusty, I would say. It would pick up here and there on some of these open holes on the backside of the park, like this one and the next 2. But then as you'll see on the back nine, the wooded parts of the course didn't really have too much wind. So yeah, kind of just here and there, gusty, but nothing too crazy.
You can see Paige playing it probably a little bit too safe, just yanking it out to the right a little bit.
This looks like a great shot from Deann. Skips right out of that ditch that I mentioned, and that is pretty much parked. That's a great way to bounce back, get her back to even par.
Very smooth release, but just doesn't have the mustard on it. Needs a little bit more sauce.
Yeah, it just comes up a little short, a little wide. Leaves her about 70 feet or so. But yeah, like you said on the last hole, I thought, ooh, this has got to sit. Oh, there's that OB road that I mentioned earlier. Just barely finds it. Little yank there from Jasmine.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's definitely one she wants back, but all you can do is just keep going, and she's got to try to make that putt for bogey. And Paige, she is fine with the par.
See how much of a bid Juliana gives this one.
Whoa.
A little headwind kind of knocked that nose down putt into the ground. Unfortunate. Don't know how much of a bid she was trying to give it. That's a great putt from Jasmine.
Very nice.
Super smooth stroke.
Yeah, that was a huge putt, because if that putt gets out of hand, then you really start talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was huge for the confidence.
Nice birdie from Deann. Taps that one in. Get her back to even par. You know, these open holes are kind of this one probably the most gettable of the first three, but the next two holes are pretty tough. So I think most players are okay with being even through the first 5 or 6. The scoring really happens on these shorter wooded holes that you'll see coming up. Speaking of hole 4 is a par 3 at 333 feet. If you have a forehand, that's the play. You got to hit this gap with a little bit of right finish at the end. If you don't have a forehand, it's a really tough shape to throw some sort of hyzer flip backhand with a late drift to the right. If you have a roller, that's an option, but very specific shape, and the basket is on a bit of a mound, so can make putting tricky if you decide to get aggressive.
So that right side gap is just not, it's not a gap. Oh, okay. I can see the basket. That's my fault. Yeah, definitely don't throw down the right side.
Yeah, I think there's usually a Mando on this hole, but I don't think it was in play for this tournament. So I think you theoretically could have, but with how the tee pad is situated, I don't think that's really a very viable option. So nice shot from Deann. She kind of took the inside gap more than the traditional route that looks like Juliana is going for here. Just a little low out of the hand, but the shape on it looks pretty good. But yeah, like I said, going with the backhand, which I think most of these players are, it's just really tough to get the disc to drift to the right that late in the flight, especially when you're trying to throw something 300 plus feet.
Yeah, and it seems like a slightly low ceiling too on that right side. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's really not much room for error unless some of these girls, they're trying to take the right of those 2 trees, which it seems like that's what some of them are trying to do. And Jasmine pulls it off the best.
Yeah, I think that is an option, but you know, you kind of have to get a little lucky down towards the end of that fairway. Miss a couple of those late trees, but I think either way, most of the field is probably happy with a par here. That was a great scramble shot there from Paige to keep herself close. You don't want to leave yourself with a 25-30 footer on this hole. That's when you can get yourself into some trouble.
Yeah, it seems like one of the only baskets that might be elevated out here.
I think it is the only one, unless I'm... I think hole 18 actually for this is slightly elevated, but not on a mound like this. That ooh, Deann getting aggressive.
Very close. That was a good bid. Very nice, Jasmine.
There.
Yeah, keeping the putting confidence, definitely important.
Yeah, tough hole this one. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say one birdie on the day. Holly, we got to give a shout out to Holly Finley.
Oh yeah,
it's a good pickup.
Congrats, Holly. I was just gonna say that I find that, you know, when the game's not going perfect, the putting is the first thing confidence-wise to go. So keep that rolling.
Yeah, if you're making your inside the circle putts, even if you're not throwing the disc well, it can kind of save a round that could be a lot worse. So still plenty of golf to figure things out. As we jump into hole 5, par 3, 282 feet. This view is from the long tee pad. You can see the short pad up there on the right, just across the road. You kind of have this rough area on the right and left side of the fairway, but there's not really too many trees in the way. Most players are probably just looking to throw a nice straight shot at the basket. A couple of late trees to miss that are about 40 or so feet short of it, but pretty much a straight to hyzer shot over this rough for most players.
It seems like there's a nice little backstop too on the left side of the basket, so you can just really just hyzer and swing it in. This is just on the edge. What is that, circle's edge?
Yeah, just about circle's edge. Didn't quite get the finish Deann was looking for there, so might have some tricky footing, but she'll still have a look at it.
Juliana decides to kind of go right at it. She also looks like she just crept inside the circle.
Yeah, I think so. Just a little low release, but the line was very solid. Got a little bit of ground play, so this is leaking out a little from Paige. We've got the basket surrounded, so
yeah, we just need one shot behind the basket. Come on, Jasmine.
Yeah, give us an ace run here. It is a good line.
Might be perfect. Oh, it's just a little short.
Yeah, a little short. So a bunch of circles, edge putts coming up. Call this one about a 40-footer.
Nothing wrong with the drop in 3. I'm sure she wanted to be a little bit closer to have a better bid. But Paige, that looked like it was definitely outside the circle.
Yeah, outside the circle for sure. In the rough. Yeah, take another look. Drops it in. Wow, what a putt. Get her under par.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Let's see if Deann's able to match. Kind of another awkward situation. Oh my gosh. All right.
Let's go.
These girls are just like, it's like that Homer Simpson meme, just popping out of the bush, raining putts.
Yeah, just throw it into the rough and just be angry at that and make it.
Yeah, exactly.
Problem solved.
Love a frustration birdie. See if Juliana can make it 3 in a row. Oh, just off the band. It's tough when you get double big putted to knock down a 30-footer for your birdie.
My strategy is to not watch people who have longer putts than me as best I can.
It's not a bad idea. Jumping in here to hole 6, it's par 3 at 258. I think you're going to see most people take this straight gap that you can see right here in the middle with a mid-range or putter. If you have the distance for that, you may see some people go down the far right side, but the right side rough kind of comes into play if you do take the outside line. So I think the straight shot, although kind of a smaller gap, is probably the best option here.
Looks like Deann is going with a putter, maybe a mid. She wants it to fight, and it kind of does. That's inside the circle.
Yeah, probably 20, 25 feet or so. Yeah, you don't really need that much fade at the end. It's pretty much a straight shot. Most discs by the end of the flight will kind of work their way to the left naturally anyway. So kind of something like that. Paige ends up probably just inside the circle as well over there on the left-hand side.
Yeah, a couple of tester putts.
Okay, so here's that outside line I was talking about.
Ooh, I like that. Does that like cut off the angle weird? Like she obviously needed to flip that up just a little bit more to push forward.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is it's tough to get all the way to the basket because you can see that backside rough comes in quick. So it doesn't really shape for like a traditional hyzer. You'd have to throw more of a, yes, like you said, that deeper hyzer that kind of flips up and pushes as it goes. Pretty technical shape if you're going to go down that right side. So she's still got to look at it though.
Yeah, everyone's got a putt. She had to put a little extra on it and just pulled it a bit. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem for her par.
Couple testers here now for the birdie. Paige up first, just pulls that one a little bit off to the right.
It's a frustrating thing when you make like a 45 footer and then you miss the 25er.
Yeah. A wind kind of coming across this green. Same thing for Deann. See if Jasmine can pick up the only birdie on the card.
There you go. That's a story to tell. I got a stroke on some world champs.
Yeah. Nice job, Jasmine there. Gets her first birdie of the round. Hopefully get her moving in the right direction. Yeah, she's got a really solid putt. Looks nice and confident out there, which is tough for, I would assume, her first time on film at a big tournament.
Absolutely. To be able to keep your hand steady and keep it on track while you're, playing in the round that you are, it's hard to do.
Yeah. Big ups to her. We've got 3 pars for the rest of the card here on hole 6. As we jump into hole 7, it's a par 4, first par 4 of the day, I believe, at 433 feet. There's kind of a couple different options on this one as well. I don't know what this card is going to do. You have a left and a right gap. If you play the left gap, then there you kind of have a hyzer into the green, typically a backhand hyzer. If you play the right gap, which is kind of more of a turnover off the tee, then you'll have a left to right moving shot into the green. So I think it's just kind of a preference on what you want your approach shot to look like. The way to bite off the most distance is to take this right side gap. I think Jasmine wanted that to turn a little more, but she made enough forward progress to where she'll probably have something that she can figure out there.
Yeah, I feel like I saw her kind of sneak out a little bit there. Is this fading a little bit too left, or is this going to be good?
Yeah, so that's perfect if you're going for the left gap that I mentioned. Okay. So she'll have kind of a couple different gaps depending on how far she pushed forward to work with there. But yeah, it should be in a good spot. And this should be in a good spot as well.
Awesome.
There's plenty of space over there on the left-hand side.
There's so many trees.
Yeah, this one's kind of hard on camera to see. And now here, this is perfect down the right-hand side as long as she misses the late trees. Yeah, that's the way to bite off more distance, right? So now she'll probably have less than 250 into the green, I would say, but it's going to be kind of a trickier shape.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Jasmine's left with a nice gap here. She needs this to turn a little bit more. She can get enough on it.
Yeah, should be a pretty straightforward par. Yeah, you can see Deann just got a little straight putter shot, kind of a one tree in the way, but
a little bit of a forward kick, but definitely not the greatest. And Paige just throwing it like everybody wants to.
Yeah, that was a nice little just soft baby turnover with the putter. Juliana's kind of pinched off here. Gonna have to go to the patent pending. Nice shape on it. Comes up a little bit short, but she'll still have probably a circle's edge look.
Another tester.
Deann going to the forehand nicely. Should be a good par save for her.
Jasmine content with the par. Absolutely fine.
Yeah, par on 18 fine. Average just under par on the day. Here's a birdie luck from Juliana from downtown. Nice. Drops it in. That'll get her under par and moving in the right direction on the day. A couple of those now that Paige is kind of leaked out to the right side. Able to clean up the par, but yeah, like you said, after that nice long putt on hole 5, just those are the ones you want back.
Yeah, we got for our card at least, we have a 3-way tie to the top.
All right, jumping into hole 8, course hole 1. It's par 3 at 321 feet. Most players, I think, are going to throw a straight to finish backhand, kind of similar to what we saw on hole 2. Something stable that will just give you a little bit of skip to the left at the end, and hopefully give yourself a birdie putt.
Seems like a lot of these holes are under about 340 feet, just somewhat technical for the most part.
Kind of a common theme. A lot of par 3s on this course. You just kind of got to make sure you hit a gap, hit the shape right, and miss a couple of late trees, and you should have yourself a birdie putt on most of these, kind of like what Juliana did right there.
That was a great shot.
This is looking nice, too, if it gets a little bit of finish at the end.
Yeah, Jasmine has that really nice smooth release, and she's got like that tiny little Anheuser flex shot. And it works really well for these woods. She just needs a tad bit more distance in some of these shots.
Yeah, a lot of circle 2 looks for her. Deann going to be out in circle 2 as well on this one.
Oh.
Little yanked from Paige. That's not the worst kick she could have got off that tree. At least stays on the edge, but yeah, and a good approach too.
It happens to everyone, folks, and but they get up and down for the most part.
Yeah, the bad shots are inevitable, right? And nobody's going to throw 18 perfect tee shots in a row in a round, unless you're Paul Macbeth in 2018 or whatever year that was. So it's just about how you bounce back.
I don't know. He did have an eagle to get the 18.
So that's true. So yeah, there you
didn't have. Yeah.
Good point. It's a good point. A couple long looks here. Juliana, the last on the card. Oh man, the second time just off the band. Those are the worst. Those are the putts that feel perfect and then just a little dink. Just a bit high.
Especially if you have like a few in a row too, because you're like, nothing feels wrong. It just ends up an inch too high. You know, like go back to the drawing board on those.
Yeah.
Get some cheers for Jasmine.
Gonna see a bunch of pars on this card. Paige, unfortunately, after that missed par putt, going to drop a stroke with a bogey. Jumping in here to the last hole on the front nine. Hole 9 is a par 4, 534 feet. It is basically a direct 90-degree right turn. Your tee shot, you're trying to throw something dead straight about 250 feet. If you go 280 feet, you've gone too far, and you're going to be in those backside woods. If you go 230 feet, you're too short, you're basically at nothing. So you have to hit this very specific landing zone, and then you're going to make a direct turn to the right, throw another maybe 260 feet, and then you've pretty much made your way to the basket. So it's very much a two-shot hole, and distance control is key. Yeah, that's a great shot right there. You just need that one tree you can see on the end. You have to get barely past that, and then you're in the landing zone.
Very nice. I really enjoy holes like this. There's no real like cheating a hole like this. Like you have to complete those 2 shots that the hole wants you to do. Jasmine, that was a nice stroke there. It's golf, right? You can't overpower this hole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't brute force your way through this one. This needs to hold on for Deann. That's going to be a tricky little spot there. We'll see if what she's able to work with. But yeah, like you said, you throw the shots, and if you don't have it, then you kind of just have to pitch out. Holes like this is perfect. But yeah, holes like this, if you try to get aggressive, being out of position, that's where you get into trouble. So a nice shape from Jasmine, just a little overturned, but make her way up the fairway. Should have a pretty straightforward 100 or so feet to get up and down. There's that pitch out that we mentioned.
Yeah, that's smart.
So you can see the basket back there in the background, kind of in a bit of a clump of trees, but none of the trees are more than 30 feet away or so. So if you do hit any of them, you'll still have a putt, or you can miss all of them and pretty much be parked like that.
That was awesome. Nice float, nice like floaty approach in there. Wasn't gonna do anything but be parked.
It's looking nice from Paige as well. Just needs a little scoot. And the pine needles provide that. Should be about a 15, 20 footer there for her birdie.
Yeah, see if she can get that bounce back stat up.
It's looking nice from Deann as well. Kind of leaks out a little to the left, but well inside the circle for a par putt. Just a short upshot here for Jasmine. Maybe gave that
a bid.
Little floaty bid maybe, but keeps it close. Nice par save by Deann. Nice job to just kind of, take her medicine, right? The hole like this, it's easy to get into trouble by trying to do too much. Just pitches out, puts herself in the fairway, confident that she can get up and down from that 220 foot or so approach.
Oh, no.
And Paige, the putt is just not there. The inside the circle putt, that is. Just a lot of missing right. Not sure. That's a form thing, mental thing, but
how
have to figure that out.
What was the temperature like on this day?
It was a beautiful day. It's probably
beautiful. Okay.
Right around 60s, 70s, sunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm cold, I yank it a little bit too much, but I don't think that's the case right now.
No, not too chilly. Pretty great weather in Myrtle Beach as we take a look of our shot of the round contender from the front nine. That approach we just watched from Juliana Korver, weaving her way through the trees on hole number 9. On our way to a birdie and a lead right now on our card here in round 1 of the Myrtle Beach Open. Thank you to the Norse gods as well as our Patreon family for making this coverage possible. Make sure to hop over to Heiser Media's YouTube channel where we will have the back 9 for you, as well as 2 more rounds of this year's Myrtle Beach Open coming right up. We'll see you there.